Hey man, today I'm going to be reacting to another FLEEKAZOID video. This one is another older one, just because I haven't seen all of his older ones, so I'm playing catch up. So yeah, this one is about Forspoken. It's titled, Forspoken is the perfect game to buy someone you love. And I'm sure that's sarcasm, because it wasn't great. I've seen the internet historians explain one about it. It was like one of the few ones I've seen before I started reacting to his story mode explain stuff, so yeah. And I don't know if this was the first one, or if the first game, but it was my first experience of like the decline of the AAA gaming scene and the DEI and all that stuff. Like I don't know if this was the first one that started it all in terms of like the game releases, but yeah, this one was the first one for me that I was like, yeah, something's off. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's see what FLEEKAZOID has to say about it. This did have a warning. If I find where the warning is, I'll probably maybe blur it or something. But yeah, maybe the game was so bad that it needed that warning. I don't know, but let's just see.
Good evening, pimps. Welcome back to the sermon. Allow me to ask you a question. Who do you hate? And I'm talking that to the grave type hate. Your old boss, a bully, or for God of War Ragnarok lovers, perhaps your wife's boyfriend. Well, due to the rules of international law and the Geneva suggestion, you
Don't know if I hate someone or something that badly. I know I don't want to get too political, but there are people on both sides of the political parties that do have this feeling. So I mean, I've seen it. I've seen people post about it, but yeah, I don't know if I personally have that much hatred about something.
Your options of legal recompense are limited. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ask any regular lawyer and they'll tell you that torture is a no-go, Jimbo. Ask any good lawyer and they'll tell you that there are loopholes. Then slip you a little copy of a game called Forspoken. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am told that Foreskin is a game, although technically I would classify it as a covert torture device. Like I say, click kick from the 5 FPS boss fights to the bitchy antagonist to the game.
Was it really that bad performance-wise? Because the only stuff I've heard about it was the writing was not great, and like I'm remembering this from the story mode video I saw. Like the writing wasn't great, and the gameplay was kind of mediocre for a game, like from a studio that made that game, right? So. Yeah, and like the UI just seems a little bit plain. But yeah, I like the story mode video just made the game bearable.
Gameplay that handles so clunkily that I feel like I'm gonna wake up tomorrow a few chromies shorter than the day before. And I would keep going with the overview, but honestly, it's 2 days after the release as of writing this, and the game's already fell out of the top 10 on Steam. So if I don't get this video,
let's see what's top 10 at the time, because I think this is like 2 years old.
The release as of writing this, and the game's.
So yeah, Dead Space. I assume that's the remake of it. We got Hogwarts Legacy. Okay, Hi-Fi Rush. Oh. FIFA 23, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower was fun, but I stopped playing it on my gaming channel just because I got very annoyed at one section, so I just stopped playing it. Other than that, good music, good gameplay, but it was just that one section that just annoyed me. You know, Red Dead Redemption 2 Elder Scrolls Online for $6. Because I mean that's just buy once and no sub, right? We got Watch Dogs Legions and Dead by Daylight. Oh, Watch Dogs Legions is 80% off. That is what it is.
Already fell out of the top 10 on Steam, so if I don't get this video out soon, I might not get my down payment back. Let's kick this off with the positives because I'm a positive.
Wait, it was 70 back then?
Not get
like
my
2 years
down
ago, 70? Wow.
Back. Let's kick this off with the positives because I'm a positive guy. All right, so for sure, the most positive thing I could say about this game is
flashy.
Come on, I had to write something down that's positive. It's
flashy.
It's got to be in here.
Right?
Shit, guess not. All right, well, it was great talking about the positives. Now let's talk about the negatives, starting with the most massive issues, the most bulbous question in the front of many would-be
I think I watched a reaction of the story mode as well, and then the faces or something.
Buyers' minds. The budget cuts. How
Oh,
in the
that too.
128 gigabyte hell
Oh.
did they forget to up the budget on these character designs? I mean, Jesus. I think.
Oh, that was a bad pause. I mean, I read there was an explanation about the large file sizes in gaming nowadays, and that's mainly to, what was it? It was like mainly to provide uncompressed audio files and then 4K resolution, like 4K resolution textures, right? And then I think it was also 4K resolution movie files for like the cinematics and stuff like that. So that adds up. That's probably why, like, what was it? The Call of Duty games are that huge, because in multiplayer you have so many skins, right? And then those skins have their own 4K textures, and that just adds up little by little to make the game massively huge. So that's why I don't know. Like, I mean, it's mainly the Western games too, whereas like the Japanese and all the Eastern ones, it's just like they're big, but they're not over 100 that I know of. So yeah.
This woman had the right idea when they brown bagged what's-her-face in the intro. Hell, matter of fact, I think we should do that for all the characters in this game. The only saving grace is that they must have put the Squeenix waifu division in charge of the zombie character design, because god damn,
Oh,
have
jeez.
my neck. Have it. I want to be a zombie.
Never noticed
Especially
that.
because that would mean that I wouldn't have to play this opening. The opening of this
Oh,
game is
yeah.
a 2-hour test of your will to live, and you even get to play about 50.
That was 2 hours. I mean, the story mode video did a great job at summarizing it. So yeah, I did not realize that was 2 hours.
15 minutes of that between the constant cutscenes that establish hard and fast that not even the developers want you to play this game. Oh, here's New York, except you can't even walk to the end of the street. Oh, here's
Wow.
a stealth mission, but we lock your movement when the actual stealth comes into play. Or we just put up invisible walls so that you can't have any player choice at all.
I hate invisible walls. Now, at least try and put something creative to block your movement. Like I've said this in multiple videos. I don't know what specific ones, but yeah, like a good example, like a bad example would be in Final Fantasy VII, the first remake. There was a section that was an invisible wall that was blocked by a pallet that was laying down. And it's like, you have jump. Cloud can easily jump over it or use his sword to break that pallet. It's like, the invisible walls, and just there's some invisible walls that are done right. Some just, it feels like they're just lazy.
This shit's more on the rails than Thomas the goddamn train pimp. And so help me God, if I see one more middle-aged woman work a cat into a AAA title as a main character, I'm gonna lose it. And speaking of yearning for death,
Maybe that was the self-harm thing. I'm gonna edit that out just in case. So I mean, cats, I like cats. I played Stray. Stray was fine. I mean, I think that's the only one where the cat was the main character. Oh no! There was also the city. What was it? Cat City. Something like that. It was a really fun game. But yeah.
let's talk about the combat, because I know some defenders of this game like to pretend as if the
is that
dialogue
motion
is the
blur?
only bad thing in it. But you know what I think, pimp? I think that this combat is made for people that, much like the satanic-looking characters in this game, have had one or more lobotomies. When I say that this game is brain-dead easy, I mean literal dumbass, stupid
I didn't
babies
say it was,
can
like,
beat
mid.
this game while shitting themselves. You
Oh,
basically just
it was
throw
that bad?
rocks, meth rocks, or water balloons while holding down the B button, because that's the secret game journalist auto-dodging functionality in disguise, at least until your stamina runs out, because evidently this game's having more of an identity crisis than half the goddamn people on Twitter. It can't decide whether it wants to embrace the fun prototype style or the formulaic RPG sludge pipe special. It has a stamina bar, bullet sponge enemies, and horrible bosses that you have to run around chipping away at for 5 minutes in a
They're really bullet sponges if you don't have bullets.
Not in this malaise. Then at the same time, a lot of these enemies are fucking window-licking vegetables traveling in trash mobs and are so brain-dead easy that they are practically inviting you to turn them around, bend them over, and demolish them. But then again, on the flip side, every ability has a cooldown, so you constantly have to pop open the skill wheel 2.0. Elemental enemies mean you constantly have to change powers, and you can't just use the ones that you like. They forgot to add combos. There are no Devastator attack variants.
Wait, there's no combos even though you're being graded for the combat? Oh, wow.
Use 2 or 3 of the skill wheel abilities for each power set, which makes them feel repetitive as hell. And in fact, I would just summarize the entire combat as tedious, overly restrictive, and boring. Not to say that...
So that's why they had to pretty up with all those effects. Because once you strip away all the particle effects, all the neat animation, I guess, neat is subjective. All you're left is just some basic combat.
This combat doesn't have cool ideas, but you know what's an even cooler idea? Buying Heafy instead of this piece of shit.
I need to continue playing that. I just haven't had time on my own to fully play that because there's like so many games to play.
Next up, before we touch on the truly atrocious story, let's talk about the open world. My brothers and Bill. We touch on
I did notice that the character model, or at least the main character model, was fine. Like, it was, you can tell that she's a character, right? But I mean, look at this.
Story, let's talk about.
Look at this. Like, she looks fine in terms of like the detail, right? And then you have this, like, what was it, like 131 gigabytes? And they couldn't spare some textures on rocks. Like, well, I know I said like earlier that all the most of the size that's over 100 gigabytes goes to like 4K textures. Like, where did the textures go in this game? Like, maybe to this flower down here, maybe to these tree leaves, but you can see the texture on the rocks behind, but all these rocks in the foreground is just garbage. Honestly, like, that's so bad.
The open world. My brothers and Bill, this is like a mildly toned down UB shit open world that ran out of budget about 1/10 of the way into making it. Full of stunning areas like arid, bland, rocky biome, arid, bland, desert biome, arid, bland, desert, but now with red rocks, empty.
I didn't know this was Borderlands.
Generic medieval city, and get a load of this one, you're gonna love it. Arid, bland, rocky biome, but this time we painted the grass green.
Ooh.
And then look at all this amazing side content. The same generic.
Like, to be fair, like, sometimes, like, I guess the area design, is that the right term for it? The area design of an area can be breathtaking, even if it's Badlands. But if you just keep having Badlands after Badlands after Badlands, then it might, it's gonna get old. No matter how much you pretty it up. That's why you have to like have variation. So I'd like, at least even in what was that game I played recently? In Infinity Nikki. Now you have all these amazingly looking places, but they're all varied. Like, you have some plains, you have like the water side, you have like some rocky sides. They all look fine. It's just have some variety.
Dungeon repainted 3 times, some protection
that's
and time
bad too.
trial missions, and a touring mission where you get to tell the guide to go fuck himself because he had the audacity to call you a hero. But the worst offense of all the side missions,
that design looks bad. Like, oh wow. maybe it's just this angle. I know these are supposed to be ruins, but still, why does it look so bad?
is that they didn't even bother to make an animation for feeding the
No.
goats. I should.
You can pet cats, you can pet dogs in games, but you can't even feed a goat.
Give this game a 1 out of 10 right fucking now. It's bad out here, pimps, I ain't gonna lie. And if I hear someone say that the half-cock fancy running makes the open world feel great, well then I'll send you a little copy of a game you might enjoy. It starts with P and ends with Itebot. Anyways.
What was that dude due to legal
It starts
reasons.
with P and ends with Ite.
And the fear of getting cooked by... okay.
Anyways, allow
was just
us
a
to
joke.
finally talk about this god-awful story.
See,
Starting
like, look, she was, where is it? Go back. Yeah, like, look at her character design, right? I mean, like it or hate it, that's your opinion, but it looks very detailed compared to, like, even the police behind her. It's really off-putting. Like, you might like the design of her, like, herself, but just making it compared to all the designs around her, it just makes it off-putting to me.
story, starting with the hero.
Like, I'm not saying to, like, make every character super detailed, right? It's just like, if you have a character that detailed and then you have, like, untextured rocks in behind that's a problem.
I don't care what happens to Athia, if it's saved or if it burns.
And not just the men, but the women and the children too.
You play as someone who lacks any reason or accountability.
Yeah, that I saw that in the story mode. That her dialogue is, it's not my fault, it's not my problem, I just want to go home.
Or in other words, you play as a woman. Oh, I'm just kidding. That's only one reason not to like her. She's also the most obnoxious, unlikable, selfish, bitchy,
That's true.
and sometimes bordering on even evil protagonist
That's
that
true.
I've seen a writer's room try so desperate.
Because I mean, you can have characters that you're meant to dislike, right? But it's just there's some, like, there's characters that you dislike that you come to like over time. This is not one of them.
To make out as the good guy. She vacillates constantly between
With my freaking mind!
and fuck you and your entire bloodline. May they burn with the rest of the heretics in the fiery flames of hell, because I must return to New York to be homeless and shit on the streets with my cat. And you know how I feel about cats. She is constantly treating people like shit, and then the
Yeah.
developers have the audacity to tag this line in on the end.
I actually believed I was a hero for a second there.
No,
I
you
actually
didn't.
believed I was a hero for a second there.
I'm not your savior.
Completely rewriting history just like a woman would. Oh. But even putting all that aside, this story is still riddled with issues.
Right after you break out of prison, you stand in the middle of the town square with at least 3 guards standing around you that don't recognize you. And then I think that you steal the apple that she was holding too, right?
To name a few, none of the side characters are memorable. They have to contrive every boss fight into happening. They have a mission where
Oh, is that for the second boss?
none of the side characters are memorable. They have to contrive.
You are on a completely different mission to get meds, and it leads you conveniently to a tree that is 2 blocks over from the next big baddie. So you go there, because why not? And get her. The meds are never brought up again. A+ story writing right there.
Drive every boss fight into happening. They have a mission where you just straight up
It
read
just
a bunch of
teleports you.
books so the writers don't have to find a way to work it all into the story. And the pacing issues are beyond legendary. You spend an hour learning about how shitty Frank's life is before getting Eastside Kate into Wonderland. But then meanwhile,
That's the thing, though, like, I know it's a trope, but it would have been great if there was like an actual truck that did that, right? Like right as she was about to get hit by a truck, and then the light happens and she gets portaled out, like, to get saved or something like that. I feel like that would have been a lot better.
spend only 5 minutes on this little girl just so that they can kill her an additional
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes later to set up
And like she didn't even like feel that bad about it, from what I remember.
some whole revenge plot. And what, I'm supposed to care? I knew that bitch for 15 minutes. And the worst part is, then they keep referencing it throughout the rest of the goddamn game. And I'm just sitting here like,
Yeah, like they reference it, but I from what I remember, like, she would comment about it and then just like move on right after.
still, what kicks all of this off is not as bad as how it ends. Jesus Christ, this is not a
Yeah.
narrative dump, this is a narrative avalanche. After rushing through 6 chapters following the first boss's death, they then hit the brakes with a 2-hour slideshow presentation telling you everything the story probably would have explained if the devs didn't run out of money. But most notably, the cuff was actually corrupting the Contras, and before
What was it? I paused way too late for that. It did not provide power, only evil. The witch's power always came from within.
Mantras, and before your
Sure.
mom yeeted you into that portal, she gave you powers and cast plot conveniences. Please God, end the story on you, so you could only unlock those powers when the writer's room wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
Oh, and your mom's a dragon now, so don't be a bigot.
Wasn't that Ubisoft staff? I remember they showed like a picture of the Assassin's Creed team where it was like all, or not all, but it was like majority white or something like that.
Be on the right side of history. This totally
I
explains
think.
why she tried to eat me while I was running away earlier. All right, and also, fuck, you know what, never mind. I'm done talking about this. You get the point. The moral of the story is, pimps, jewelry be corrupt and bitches, so don't buy them any, all right? I give this game a huge...
Maybe that was a lesson all along. It's just a big finger to the jewelry industry.
pride sticker right before feeding it into the incinerator. Goodbye.
That was good. That was good. I liked it. I think I mentioned it earlier. I wish I known of Fleek and like Seth before, like, because I didn't really start watching FLEEKAZOID until I like started reactions. So there's that. But yeah, I saw this one. 2.3 million views. Oh, it's also 2 hours long too. So it's really entertaining. I recommend it if you want to see, I guess, a quick summary of Forspoken. But yeah, it is what it is. So hope you enjoyed it. Until next time. I think I went over way too long, but yeah, it was an 8-minute video. But anyways, until next time, thank you for watching and have a nice day.